So great is our Russia, from Kamchatka and Chukotka to the cold waves of the Baltic Sea. Here live 200 peoples. There are 140 of them in the region of Leningrad. It's a home for many peoples. Some of them have lived for ages. Some of them have settled lately here by the Sea of Baltic. Now we shall speak of Russians. They have lived here for a long time and descended from the Slavs. So the Slavs came here in the 6th and 7th centuries. They settled along the rivers and were engaged in agriculture, fishing, and hunting. They're respected for no Ugric peoples and were friends with Chud and Veps. 200 years passed, and the Slavs were building their homes. Thus they built the city of Ladoga, called Old Ladoga nowadays. It was passed by warriors and merchants on their way from the land of Vikings to the land of Greeks. When Prince Rurik ruled the land in the 9th century, the Slavs built a fortress in the famous city of Ladoga. Thus the northern part of Russia got its first capital. Though peasants lived peacefully, no enemy could come to their land. They would beat the Swedes and Livonians that wanted to conquer them. So in the glorious Battle of the Neva, Russians, together with the Ingrian, Karelian and Butya peoples, were led by Alexander, called later Nevsky, to their victory over the Swedes. Alexander defended his land from the army of Swedes. He drove the enemy away, and is said to have been defending his land as its heavenly protector up to now. To protect their borders from enemies, the people of Novgorod built a fortress. Then another, and the third one. Before the 16th century there had been built Yam, Viporia, Oreshik, Pinot, and Karela. There appeared Chiversky fortress and the city of Ivangorod, and the local peoples helped Russians in their work. It was only in the 17th century that the Swedish were able to get there again, but hardly had a century passed when Peter the Great appeared and the land returned to Russia. From all over the place there came many Russian people to build St. Petersburg. There were tens of thousands of them, and near the new capital there were growing many villages. Russian people have always worked. They would chop wood and sow grain and catch fish in the rivers and lakes. The local artisans were the best in the land. So near St. Petersburg and Luga there worked the most skillful carpenters. In the villages by the Oyats there were made good pots and bowls. There was woven such a wonderful lace that it was fit for the beautiful dresses of the noble ladies of St. Petersburg. The folk costumes of the local region were so fantastically beautiful that the village women who wore them looked like princesses. There were many holidays which started after harvesting. November was the month of weddings. From Christmas to Epiphany, there was the greatest time. In Yuletide, everybody was caroling, feasting and telling fortunes. In Shrovetide, everybody was making bonfires, tobogganing, sledging and baking pancakes in large numbers. This land was glorified by the greatest men of Russia. Here lived and worked such geniuses as Pushkin, Lermontov, Turgenev, Rimsky-Korsakov, Tchaikovsky, Glinka, Rerik, and Nabokov. Here created their masterpieces such artists as Kustodiev and Repin. Here worked such world-famous scientists as Lomonosov and Mendeleev. But the revolution of 1917 caused great discord among the people. They longed for happiness, but it turned out differently. Later, there came a new disaster, the Second World War, as the Great Patriotic War, which united Russians and all the other nations who protected the homeland. On the land of the Leningrad regions, 1.5 million Russians live, work and raise their children, celebrate their holidays with their families and friends, sharing sorrows and joys.